everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 2 here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, we have moved into September. It is a rainy September 1st, as you can see. It's just after 8 o'clock in the morning. We did complete that fertilizing contract last month in August, and that was the only contract we were able to secure. So that 30,000 went into the bank, and it brought us up to 45,500 in round numbers. Now, we spent the rest of the month getting moved in and organized here at our new rental property. So we are all moved in. It's officially, well, I guess you can't say ours, but it's officially home. Let's put it that way. Now, it's obvious that we needed some type of family vehicle. We couldn't have Matt chauffeuring us around everywhere. So we leased this truck here. Now, it's not what you would call a typical family vehicle, but it does get the family around, but we can use it here on the farm as well. Now, we leased it because we're not going to put nearly as many hours on it as we were like with the Deutz, so leasing is the more sensible option in this case, all except for the tidy tank on the back, which we can use to fuel our vehicles in the field. That we bought outright. That $30,000 we secured from the contract is money that we can spend on whatever we want. So we didn't need to finance that. So that is where a little of the money went. Now, speaking of financing, let's go in the menu here. If you will look at our Deutz here, remember we financed $145,000. That's what we financed on that used Deutz. And look what that Deutz is worth, 234,912. And it actually only has half an hour on it. And I can't remember. I think the used one was in 20 some hours or something. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Anyways, the point is, it's that financing mod is giving us a brand new vehicle. It is not giving us the used vehicle. And in fact, I bet you if we go back here and look at the used market, yeah, the Deutz is still sitting there. Yeah, so's the fertilizer spreader, so's the plow. So what I did is I recorded the used value when we bought it. And so if we ever do sell it, we are going to have to adjust the money accordingly, because we are not going to use that to our advantage. Like, we could buy and finance used, get a brand new one, and then sell it and make a killing. So that is why our vehicle didn't need any repairs or anything. It was actually a brand new vehicle with 0 hours on it. It was the hours thing when I was in the field I noticed. And I said, why has this thing got no hours on it? So anyways, that's the deal there. Now, there may be an update that fixes that. Don't know. But anyways, we just have to be aware of that. And most of the things we finance will be likely keeping to the end of the finance term anyways and beyond. So I don't think there are any contracts yet, unfortunately. Oh, we have a plowing contract. By golly, would you look at that? Well, we are going to take that. We have everything we need for that. But we don't want to be plowing in the rain, so I'm going to advance time until this rain goes away, and I will get set up, and we will take on that plowing contract. So that is good news. So I will catch up with you when the rain stops. Well, we're back. It's a little before noon, and the rain stopped a little bit ago. We did give some time for the field to dry. We probably in real life wouldn't be back on it after that shower so quickly, but yeah, this is a game. This isn't real life. Now, we've got everything set up here. Now we're going to try using this 9-meter plow behind the Deutz. We'll see how it goes. It may or may not work. We may need to run and reconfigure it, but we'll give it a try. Now, I think we're going to go with steering assist on here. No, we want to have about, How come it's not letting me adjust that? I thought they fixed that. Well, there it goes. Oh, we'll go to 3. Yeah, that'll work good. Gives us lots of room to turn. Now, I suppose we should actually be working on the up-downs first here. Whoops, wrong implement selected. There we go. That'll work a little better. Let's see. Well, so far it is a little bit of a downhill run though, I would say, this direction, but so far it seems to be working okay. I have noticed that before. This plow is a little bit forgiving regarding the required horsepower. So I did consider not using that finance mod and then just going with either leasing or borrowing money. But you know what? I thought we could work around it. You never know, an update might come out that kind of corrects that situation. It just does make it, using the finance mod, a little bit more difficult. Like I said, we just got to manage if we sell vehicles, what we sell them for. Now, the fertilizer spreader and the plow we're not likely to ever need to sell, but the Deutz will probably move on at some point. Or we could keep it for sentimental reasons, I suppose. And then, of course, it's just not a non-issue. Now, even with this plow on these big fields, although this would be a medium field on this map, I would say, it still takes a little while to get this work done. So unfortunately for this, till next summer in game, I think we probably are going to be just stuck doing contracts before we'll have the funds to buy a property. Maybe not. Maybe this fall. I guess it kind of depends how the contracts fall. Because what we've got to keep in mind is when the contract drought comes, our financing and leasing payments, they don't stop. So we need to have that banked up, and we can't borrow money to cover those costs. So we have to manage that rather carefully. But if we're secure in the fact that we're going to be able to cover that, and we can take on some additional debt, we could borrow money to buy a plot of land. But I think we're still 200,000 is kind of the cheapest plot. Well, that's a bit of good news that the Deutz has no issue pulling this plow with this width. I'm pleased with that. Could do a little in-cab work here, I think. The only thing I wish this Deutz had is in FS25 you could select the beige interior. I really like the beige or light gold interior that you had as an option. That isn't here yet. Much preferred it to the kind of gray myself. Now, I'm not going to bore you with showing every contract that we do. Like if we get some more plowing ones, I'll just carry on and do them, and we'll just kind of plow ahead as quickly as we can um, till we can do, advance on the farm. I was thinking about how to record, what we did for contracts, and I think we'll let the in-game counter uh, use that, and then the money, and that'll kind of speak for itself. But any new contract we do, or any new equipment that we get, lease, finance, buy, whatever the case may be, that's the kind of thing that we'll record. And if I end up doing nothing but 5 or 6 plowing contracts here in September, well, I'll skip over that and bring you back. Bring you back in when there's something a little more interesting, because I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me go up and down these fields endlessly for 45 minutes every week. Oops, wrong side there, Farmer Murphy. Oh, and we're right on the line. Perfect. Now there's no gas station on the map, so we're going to have to order some fuel in. I'm curious. Well, no, it doesn't matter. We do have a fuel tank here on our rented property. I was going to say, could we fill it from our tidy tank, but we'd have to put fuel in there first to fill the tidy tank up. So scratch that idea. So at some point we're going to need to get some fuel, either in our tank on our truck or in our fuel tank at the farm. And I'm going to have to get my tools. I haven't got them all unpacked, but we're going to have to get those unpacked so we can do some maintenance here at the home base, so we don't, well, I guess I was going to say we don't have to drive to the farmer's market, but there is actually no repair point at the farmer's market. So if we want to repair stuff, we're going to have to get organized to do it here locally, or I guess it'll have to go into town. That we don't want to be doing. Whoops. Although it wouldn't have mattered, I'm sure. Now this is being recorded after the release of 1.6. The first episode was still 1.5, and then the update happened, so this is that after that. I'm just thinking, keeping this tractor long term on the farm, even though my plan is to make a John Deere farm, because I've never actually done a Let's Play episode or a Let's Play either in 22 or here with a large John Deere farm. But it wouldn't be a hardship to hang on to this tractor. Like I said, it is one of my favorites. Even if it doesn't have the gold interior. Well, I'll carry on with this. As you can see, even on this field, it's going to take a little while. Although, we're almost 20% done. That's not too bad. And I will bring you in, and uh, when the next contracts are available, and like I said, if they're plowing ones, I'll just share that with you, and then I'll get on with them off screen. But I'll get this done, and the money collected, we'll see what time of day it is, and we'll go from there. So we'll see you when this field is done. Well, there we go. It is almost 2:45. The plowing is done. It was this field here in front of us. Very nicely plowed, if I do say so myself. But there's no other contracts right now. So what I'm going to do is spend a little time getting set up here and get my tools set up here in the barn so we can do some maintenance and repairs to our equipment here on the farm. And if there's still no contracts by that time, then I think what I'll do is I'll jump in the truck and I'll head to town. I have a notice up at Matt's shop regarding our services, but I'll see if I can't find some other places in town to put up some advertising, see if we can't stir up some additional business. So once I have that completed and we get a contract show up, I'll bring you back in. See you then. Well, hello, and welcome back to the farm. It's about 8:30 the morning of September 3rd. So a couple days have passed since we were together here, and unfortunately, there hasn't been a whole lot of excitement. That's kind of bad news for the bank account. But after we finished that plowing contract, that same farmer called up about 4 o'clock in the afternoon that day and offered us a rock picking contract on that same field. Now, I didn't jump all over it because it meant investing in more equipment, and I was really hoping some more plowing contracts would maybe pop up, but none have. So yesterday I called that farmer back and said, okay, we would do it. And I called Matt and asked if he would have a rock picker available that he could have delivered to us. So he very nicely delivered one to us here first thing this morning. And here it is here. Now this is a brand new unit. There was nothing available on the used market. And I decided to lease this because it was the most cost effective way for us to get this contract done. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to get many more plowing contracts, and if we don't, can't imagine we're going to get many stone picking contracts. So I wanted to keep our monthly payments down as low as possible, and leasing does that unless we're using it a lot. And if we are using it a lot, that means that we likely had some big plowing contracts, and because we've leased it, we have the ability to buy it out. So for those two reasons, to keep our initial costs down and to have the ability to buy it out and get rid of those monthly costs altogether, I decided to lease it. Now, I did put in my workbench here so that we can do our repairs, but you know what? You can't put stuff like that down if you don't own the land. Uh, Small technicality. So if you look at the map, it says we now own this, but we don't own it. It's not ours to do with as we please until we pay the owner. Like it's $66,100. We've got to pay him. Then it will truly be ours. But on the county map, it looks like it's ours right now. Oh, I know what I forgot to mention. Well, let's leave that run. I was thinking we needed to get a trailer when I first saw the contract, but then I got thinking about it, and I think what we're going to do with the stones is we are going to come and just dump them here, back in this area, and that's what we'll do with them for the time being. And I'll just bring the stone picker up here when it's full and dump it so that we don't, need to have any kind of trailer as well. We can get by with just having the stone picker. Now that wouldn't be very handy if the field was a long distance away, but we're lucky it's just right here, so that'll work fine for now. So again, just trying to keep our costs down because we do need to keep in mind we need to have enough money to make all these payments through the winter when we won't be having any contracts. Now we're going to use steering assist here again. And we'll do 3 headlands. That should be good. Okay. Why didn't I know why our lines didn't pop up. We need the HUD on for that. Okay. There we go. Now I believe this stone picker is the same width as our plow. And yeah, it looks like it's running the same speed. So this is going to take the same amount of time. So that would put us at around noon, I'm going to guess. We'll be done with in game. So it certainly gives us time. Like, it gives us a day and a half. We could do additional contracts if they do pop up. But getting a little late in the month, I'm not so sure that we're going to get any more. This might be it for this month, which is fine. Like when I did this, when I played on here just for fun, well, admittedly it was a different version of the map too, but I had a contract boost mod in. I had it in basically so you could pick up the straw. That was one thing if you wanted to do that. But increase the price, but I modified that so it was only increasing the price of the contracts very minimal amount. But it also made sure that you had more contracts. I have that turned off because the value of the contracts and the number I was getting, I thought it would make it too easy. Well, we certainly have fixed that. But you never know, by doing this contract, maybe that'll spur other contracts to come in. Maybe, word of mouth is pretty good advertising. It's a little foggy down here when we get close to the water. Of course, it's a little foggy up there too. It's just more foggy down here near the water, which makes sense. Now, I thought I'd institute a rule where we had to, if we lease something, we had to lease it for a minimum of 3 months, or basically equivalent to a season, to keep, prevent me from just leasing something for a contract like this and then returning it. So we're going to have it for a little bit longer duration. Back a little bit more here and get swung around. So like on this contract then, it's going to cost us probably well, it cost us 3,200 initially, and then I imagine we'll have to pay for an additional hour. So we'll have about between 19 and 20,000 left over, but then we'll have another monthly lease fee. It was under 1,000, so it'll be another couple thousand out of that. So we'll if we don't do anything else with this, we keep it for the 3 months and turn it in, we'll still be easily over $15,000 ahead on this contract. So that's not too bad. But if we got another plowing contract on a field this size, we'd be $30,000 ahead. So that's why I avoided it initially. But we do need to keep in mind, we need enough money to pay all of these monthly payments that we've committed to through the winter when we're not going to have likely any contracts. So I'm really hoping either some more come in this month or that next month is better. Now, there's likely to be some harvesting contracts, but I just can't see that with any way we can touch those. That equipment is just going to be too darn expensive. Well, we didn't miss much. I guess that really wasn't worth backing up for, but that's just my nature. Now, I don't think, if memory serves me correct, I don't think there's any place that we can sell these rocks or stones, I guess I should say, on the map. Actually, you know what? Let's just stop and check, because my memory is not the most trustworthy thing anymore. Oh, prices. That's what we need, and we need. Actually, we need stones. Stones. Why am I not seeing it? Because I'm just not seeing it. Goodness. Yeah, that's what I thought. No sell points. So we've no choice but to store them. Now, at some point, if we were going to, if things worked out, I wouldn't mind making my own line, but that is a ways away. I guess that's something to consider too. I mean, how many? Well, I guess we'll see how big a pile of stones we end up with out of this contract. But we might be another reason why we don't want to do a lot of stone picking contracts. Where are we going to put all the stones? I mean, we don't have a lot of space available to us here to be storing them, unless we can. No, that wouldn't work. I was going to say storm on the farmer's property, but we wouldn't be able to dump them there if we don't own the property. Yeah, so I guess we'll just have to deal with that when the time comes. Oh, we can take some other views here of the Deutz Fahr working in the field. It is, I think, a sharp looking tractor. Not a John Deere, but it's still pretty nice. Pretty darn nice. Getting close to the, well, yeah. I was going to say getting close to the point where I need to be paying attention. Not too far away. I usually find that point because I run into the fence. Now, we had no issue with the Deutz pulling that plow at all. Now, there was a section there the piece up, coming up to the barn there, down from the river. It's a little bit steeper. It did slow down there to like 9 miles an hour, but that's nothing. We can live with that. So I was really pleased with how it performed with the plow. No issues at all. Look, just head on. Coming right at you. Actually, we can do a little bit here in cab too. Boy, I think we might need to invest in a pressure washer if tractor's starting to get in a bit of a state here. Now, we can make it back around to the barn? Possibly. It's filling up pretty fast, but we should be heading that way for sure anyway. A little bit rough running over these plowed fields. Actually, I think we will jump out of cab here for this corner just because this fence is here. We don't need to get tangled up with it. You sure I think they're down by the water. Of course, that just makes sense. And it's this run up here I was talking about where the joints would slow down to like, oh shoot, there we are full. Where the joints would slow down to 9 miles an hour pulling that plow. There are some hills with little steeper fields, all right, but I think we can make do just fine. Well, we have to. We're kind of committed now, aren't we? Now, back in here. Whoops. Too crazy here. Actually, let me straighten that up a little bit. That wasn't too good. Now, actually, let's just try and dump it down over this bank here. Probably not going to make it any easier to pick up, but we could get more piled up that way. Oh, shoot. All right, so I guess we don't own. Is that far enough ahead that we can dump? Nope. That's it. That's as far back as we can go, unfortunately. Now, one way or another, we are going to have to move those stones. Either, if we buy it, move them out of there because we don't want them there. And like I said, I'd like to make a lime out of them eventually. Or if we decide that we have to move on, things aren't working out, we certainly can't leave them there for the owner to clean up. So one way or another, we're going to be dealing with those stones again. I am sad to say. So that was what, I'd say almost, actually a little bit more than 3/4 of the way around. That's not so bad. But the contract's just about 25% done. So 3 more loads up there. 3 in a little bit. if the stone density remains the same across the field. Seems like the fog is burning off a little bit up here. Maybe that's my imagination. Giants have still got some texture issues to deal with, as you can see. Even with the updates they've done so far, things are still a little bit wonky. Well, I suppose that's probably getting pretty darn close to an episode there, I would be thinking. Now, I don't think we'll probably see each other again till October. They're thinking that we won't get any more contracts. I could be wrong. There could be some. Actually, before we go here, let's just go in and see if anything's come up. Nothing. Because after today, we'll be on to the last day of the month. So that's what I suspect. Now, if that does change, I may bring you back in. If it's more, if it's just another plowing slash rock picking type series again, I may just do all of that off camera and still just bring it in October and just update you on it at that point in time. But like I said, I think we have probably eaten up most of our time already. Whoops. But it was mostly filled with field work this time, so I felt a little better than last time. And we are making forward progress, so that's all good. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.